It was the first day I'd ever been in with Steve. Literally the first thing he did was he walked over to a keyboard and played. And then I was kind of like, well, yeah, that's a good start.
The log drum that we use, it was the first sound that I found. And it just felt like a world sound.
Ed started doing that thing on the guitar that he does.
And then like a...
I honestly believe it's because Ed is so impatient that he can't wait for me to get a drum sound up. So he goes out and he says, look, I'll just do it on the guitar.
So he was doing that in the studio and Steve said, can we get that on the loop?
Straight away, he goes, give me a clean track, and he just starts layering over the top. This is 15 minutes into meeting him, you know, and we're away, we're off. The easiest thing with this key would be to go with it. Like of the rhythm, Ed goes completely against that. He's almost the percussion with it, so.
Club isn't the best place to find a lover, so the bar is where I go.
And that keeps the pace up.
I'm always a fan of keeping it more stripped because I'm an acoustic artist first and foremost, and when I play live, I can't replicate all these things. I haven't got any other musicians.
So you don't need anything else because that's the percussion. That's Ed. Ed is the instrument.
When we came, we let the story begin. We're going out on our first date. You and me are thrifty, so go all you can eat. Fill up your bag and I fill up the plate.
Johnny's like my main guy that I work with. Me and him together on our own have probably written 200-300 songs.
His attention span can be fairly low. One of the things I did to try and keep him in the room while I would be working on a track, I would have like a suitcase full of Lego I'd pull into the hotel room and say, there you go, you build that. And it was great because he would sit and build the Lego and kind of get lost in that world for a second, and then come up with this moment that was everything.
Because as we were writing it, I kind of knew I wanted it to be like a really sort of R&B type feel. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if like we put like an interpolation of No Scrubs in it? So the bit that went, girl, you know I want your love, originally was, girl, you know I want your love.
There were some moments that I found on the Shape of You tapes which were really interesting.
I'll be my baby, I'll be my baby, I'll be my baby. Come on, yeah, come on, be my baby, come on, be my baby,
So that's a perfect example of how Ed, it starts off as a ba 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 ba, just a noise. And then you hear that moment where he discovers it should be come on, he's inviting this person in.
He has in his mind, this is how I want the song to sound, this is what I want to talk about. Originally, I think we were talking about it maybe being my T-shirt smells like you. And he was like, no, it's got to be my bed sheets.
It's bed sheets smell of you, and I remember thinking, oh God, no, not bed sheets.
On the original version, it doesn't actually say I'm in love with the shape of you. It only says that at the beginning bit.
Last night you were in my room, now my bed sheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. I'm in love with your body.
See, like a weird thing in there, that's pretty odd.
I'm in love with your body. On its own, felt objectifying to me.
Yeah, he's got a like really warm heart.
Do you not like I'm in love with your body?
I do. It's just
I'm in love with your body.
I mean, like I say, I just always like if we could just push it so it's
Yeah,
one
yeah, I know.
more thing.
Where I come from, there's this phrase, they say, look at the shape of you. And that means, you know, look at the way you've showed up.
So I know with the shape of you, but I don't know if that it's true. It is more.
Yeah.
I'm in love with
You're not just the body.
it is more
than your body.
you are more than your body. Yeah.
I'm in love with the
Yeah,
shape of you.
I'm in love with the way you move.
But it's more than just.
But it's more. But it's not just the shape of you.
This song is just one loop the whole way through. It's a very monotonous thing, so when you've got that for the whole song, the only thing you can do are light and shade bits.
So once you've heard the first 10 seconds, there's no more learning to be done when it comes to the hook. Then everything else is a surprise.
It's so minimal that every time something new does come in, it's, you hear it.
Stop it, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance. And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want your love.
Layered up some more vocals, some of these guitars. One of the things that we added was the mellotron. And it just added a little color to it for me. Just a little bass drum, just to give it some weight. We got a little 16 clap going. Then we added a little rim. And it's kind of the only thing that's sort of slightly off the beat, you know. So it feels like it's moving on all the time. You're not getting bored. Every time you start getting bored of it, something new comes in or something drops out.
It kind of builds and builds and builds and then drops and builds and builds and builds and then drops, and then at the end it has a moment, which I quite like.
Come on, be my baby, come on. Come on, be my baby, come on. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body.
You don't really notice it happening, but it's happening underneath, and you just get this feeling of tension, release, tension, release.
I'm in love with the shape of you.
We moved on to another song,
We've actually got a cut with Faith Hill and Tim McGraw that we wrote the same day.
and then we did another one after that.
We wrote a bunch that day. Oh, the Liam Payne one as well.
And that was when at the end of the third song, he said, go back and can you play me the first tune again?
We thought it might be a duet, and the duet would be that the girl sings one verse and that the guy sings another verse.
When I was like, this sounds like Rudimental should do it with Rihanna.
He said, I don't think this is for me.
I was off to the studio where my record label head was. I played it, and then he was just kind of looking at me like, why are you wanting to give this away?
I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body.
For those of y'all that are fans of Don't Sleep, oh, I'm like 1,000% convinced that Ed Sheeran took that shit from me. Like he definitely took took it from me. Cause Don't Sleep came out 2016, and Shape You came out 2017, and it wasn't like the song was a secret. So Ed Sheeran, nigga, you probably owe me some money.
My ducks, my swans, welcome to the pond.
My name is Dorian from Group82Music.com, and right here we got Ed Sheeran breaking down Shape of You from the beginning to the end and talking about how he almost gave the song away to Rihanna. These videos, man, are just fascinating to me. And so it's not so much about the music business, it's about the development of songs and how songs come to be. And the fact that they have like the original tracks and the original vocals and studio vocals and the like that weird shit that one like you're able to see like, damn, that was actually trash. Like had they kept that in there, like the song would have definitely not blew up. And it also gives you insight into songwriters and how they make music. And even like people who are just like professional songwriters and producers who were hired by the label. Like that dude said that he puts Ed Sheeran in a corner with some Legos. Like, I'm just thinking like if somebody ever came to me with that shit, like, man, who the fuck are you talking to, man? I'm not about to sit in no corner and play with no fucking Legos while I come up with songs. Like, I'm not no damn child. But this is shit that happens because when you're making music, man, you do have to kind of find that childhood creativity. If you watch a child, a baby, a toddler, even elementary school, middle school, it kind of wears off in high school. They're just so creative. They're able to come up with stuff on their own. They're able to entertain themselves, soothe themselves. And as you become an adult, that behavior becomes less and less socially acceptable. But when you're creating music, you have to channel back into that childlike creativity. Because if you don't, you're going to be making like adult-like music and it's not going to make sense. Like, like as an adult, that doesn't really make sense. But as a child, you hear a toddler say that, like you might say it back to them. You know what I mean? It makes sense in that language. And so when you're creating, you have to find a way to tap into that childlike innocence. The other thing I want y'all to take away from this video is that you never know what a song's gonna do. And a lot of y'all are songwriters and you write reference tracks for people. But if it sounds good to you and you like it, keep it. Don't give that away. Like, think if Ed Sheeran would have gave the song to Rihanna and whoever he mentioned wanted to do the duet with. Think if he would have did that, right? I mean, it would have been another #1 for Riri, probably. But look at what it's done for his career. Like, you never know what a song is going to do. You can't predict it. There's songs I thought were going to be massive of mine that ain't done much. And there's songs of mine that I didn't think would do like hardly anything and people really gravitate towards. Believe in your art, man. And if it feels right to you and it feels comfortable, like that is what you need to rock with. And I think so many people are so caught up on like what the sound is and who's going to listen to it. It's like, yo, you know if something feels right to you. You know when you're an artist, when you're a creator, when you're a songwriter, you know if it feels right. And if it feels right, rock with it. If it doesn't, then hey, give it away. But thank God that Ed Sheeran kept this. You're an independent artist. You're watching this. You want to get your music heard. You've been trying to get on our playlist for weeks, months, years. Right now, we have a sale. True Support is my album. You pre-order that for $9.99, and I'll get you a $249 playlist placement for free. Click the link in the bio. Pre-order True Support. Help me get #1 on iTunes. Help me chart on the Billboard 200. And I'll place you on our playlist permanently, a $249 value for free. Click the link in the bio. Get it done right now. I'm out the pond. Y'all stay true. Group82music.com.